Trump did not expect this move. Mark Carney just backed a $3.5 billion engine expansion plan that could remove U.S. control from the Gripen fighter jet program. This is not just about speed or power. It is about who controls sales, upgrades, and spare parts. And Canada is now at the center of it. For years, the Gripen fighter relied on an American engine. That engine is the General Electric F414. It produces about 22,000 pounds of thrust. It is reliable and widely used, but it comes with conditions. Because it uses American core technology, any country that buys the aircraft must receive U.S. export approval. Major upgrades must also pass through American oversight under ITAR rules. This gives Washington leverage. If political tensions rise, approvals can be slowed down. If disagreements appear, exports can be delayed. If relations weaken, support can become uncertain. This has always been part of the system. Now that system may be changing. Rolls-Royce has advanced development of a new engine configuration designed to power the Gripen without American propulsion technology. This upgraded engine is expected to approach 26,000 pounds of thrust in enhanced form. That means more acceleration, better climb performance, and stronger capability under heavy loads. But again, performance is not the real story. Control is. If the Gripen no longer depends on American engine components, then U.S. export veto power becomes limited. There would be no automatic requirement for U.S. government approval for every sale. That changes the political structure of the aircraft. And when Mark Carney supports a $3.5 billion aerospace expansion tied to this shift, Canada becomes part of that new structure. To understand why this matters, we need to look at history. Gripen was designed by Sweden as a flexible, lower-cost fighter. It focused on quick turnaround times and easier maintenance compared to heavier jets. But it was never fully independent. Earlier Gripen models relied on engines based on American designs. Even when performance improved over time, dependency remained. For many years, this was not a problem. The United States and European partners worked closely together. Approval processes were predictable, but global politics has become more complex. Trade tensions have increased. Tariffs have been used as pressure tools. Political rhetoric has grown sharper. When trade and politics mix, supply chains become sensitive. Defense planners began asking simple but serious questions. What if spare parts are delayed? What if export approvals are used for political pressure? What if political changes affect long-term military support? These concerns do not make headlines, but they matter deeply to governments making 30-year defense investments. An engine is not just metal and fuel. It is also influence. Carney's backing of expanded aerospace participation shifts the discussion from buying to building. Montreal already hosts strong aerospace facilities. Rolls-Royce operates significant sites there. Bombardier has deep manufacturing experience. If Canada becomes part of the engine production and support network, it gains more control over long-term operations. Estimates tied to industrial participation suggest over 12,000 Canadian jobs linked to airframe production and supply chains. Thousands more could be tied to propulsion manufacturing and maintenance support. These are high-skilled positions. Engineers, software specialists, inspectors, precision machinists. Once such jobs are embedded, they create economic stability and political weight. When production is domestic, decisions are no longer only about price. They are about long-term national capability. Canada would not just operate the aircraft, it would help sustain it. That changes leverage. There was one major barrier to this shift in the past: cost. Changing an aircraft's engine requires redesigning air intakes, adjusting structural elements, modifying control systems, and conducting long testing programs. Certification can take years. Without enough aircraft orders, it is not financially viable. But the market has shifted. Ukraine's long-term Air Force rebuilding plans could involve large fleet expansion in the coming decade. Colombia has signed agreements for more than a dozen Gripen aircraft. Thailand operates earlier models and evaluates future upgrades. As order numbers increase, production scale improves. When scale improves, costs drop. Independence becomes affordable. That is the turning point. Performance improvements also strengthen the case. Higher thrust improves takeoff performance and acceleration. Climb rates increase. Combat radius can expand when efficiency improves. Gripen already has a reputation for lower operating costs compared to heavier fifth-generation fighter platforms. Some estimates suggest operating costs can be significantly lower per flight hour compared to more complex fifth-generation jets. When performance increases and dependency decreases at the same time, the aircraft becomes more attractive to budget-conscious governments. It offers flexibility without heavy political strings. That combination is powerful. For Washington, the implications are clear. For decades, American engine technology embedded influence inside global fighter programs. If propulsion was American, legal oversight followed. That oversight allowed the United States to shape export decisions and maintain leverage. If propulsion shifts fully outside U.S. control, that leverage weakens. The United States cannot restrict what it does not control. It cannot block exports governed entirely by foreign law. Diplomatic pressure remains possible, but structural authority declines. This does not mean the alliance collapses, it means influence redistributes. And redistribution in defense markets can last decades. Other countries are watching. Latin American nations often balance relationships between major powers. They prefer flexibility. They do not want future supply disruptions tied to politics.